It's time to take a stand, bringing the truth to a fucked up land. We've had enough of the lies and deceit. We're done for good with the toxicity. All hail thanks, we are the Rabyd Nation. All hail thanks, we are the Rabyd Nation. All hail thanks, we are the Rabyd Nation. We are the Rabyd Nation.
All right, and a hearty welcome to all of you in the Rabyd Nation, whether you're a citizen, a tourist, or otherwise. Welcome one and all. Appreciate all of you being here tonight. I am your host, Ed Rabyd, a former pastor turned atheist, now a compassionate anti-theist. I am the Rabyd Atheist, and this is my channel, the Rabyd Atheist. Welcome one and all. And today is Monday, so it is Fireside Chat night. There is absolutely, I don't make you a sub to the channel. I don't make you do anything. You know, if you want to come and talk to me about something, that's fine. That's why I am here. Got a few things that might be good discussion starters given current events. So in the sphere. So welcome one and all there. There is a goal in chat. That's just my polite, low-key, fun way of asking for money to keep the streaming going. If I reach that goal, I will wear whatever hat has been chosen by the poll for the rest of the stream. And that's just kind of my low-key autistic way of asking for cash. So there you go. And I don't like to do that throughout the entire stream, and I'm not comfortable with that anymore now that I'm no longer a pastor. So there we go. Let's see. Let's get a quick roll call. Okay. Our chap. All right, there we go. He's there. I'm here, of course. John from Holland is here. Rimmer is here. Martin is here. Blossom is here. I'll talk about that in a minute. Hey, Brian's here. Good to see you, Brian. Wednesday is Garfield's favorite day. Yeah, I suppose it imaginally is. Is Monday Garfield's favorite day? That's possible. I guess I'll answer that question. I think that's it for now. I have a tendency on Fireside Chat to kind of slow. It's a slow burn as far as getting people. I used to say that very thing, Tyler fam. If you're going to preach, there are two things of even Fireside Chat that I will nix, is preaching and quoting Bible verses. I have a degree in biblical studies, so I'm well aware of what the Bible says. Okay, I was a preacher for 20 years, a Christian for 40, so so there's that. I haven't heard anything, Tyler, that you haven't. You're gonna. I've already heard it all. I preached it all. So I don't think the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Okay, I like some proof of that evidence. So, but yeah, being serious. Yeah, getting back to the current events, Blossom. Saturday, of course, I started to react to Paul Agia's latest video and the whole Habermas saga. And yesterday I got an email from Paul where there's a video that Real Seeker produced. It's like 3 hours long, so that might be a diminishing return there, I guess, but for some of you. But he basically is defending Habermas despite it all. So if you want to check that out here, I got the link to that video. See, I'm actually like helping Real Seeker out here. But that's the video of him defending Gary Habermas, and Paul sent me that. I've watched about a third of it. So Oh my goodness. You've never heard that before. You need to reconsider your life. But yes, but yes, I got partway through that video. I haven't listened to the rest of it. I'll probably listen to the rest of it at work tonight when I go to work. But yeah, he's defending Habermas because Habermas is now receiving criticism from Christians, and that's what I suspected. I predicted that. Um, I predicted that there would be some honest Christians that are looking at the scholarly integrity, not the fact that the guy has a PhD or something, but looking at the scholarly integrity of the work that's being done, and the goalpost shifting, the gaslighting, and all that other stuff just kind of came out. Yeah, Apologia has a new video today, which I haven't watched yet, but this is about 2 videos ago, the one I was reacting to on Saturday, and it's kind of like round 4 for Paul versus Habermas kind of thing. And once again, he comes out the gate, well, these people are just for me and Paul, because we're atheists, we're twisting the truth. Yes, and then he, of course, does the typical trope Christian things about atheism, which is why I exist. If people didn't disparage atheists simply because they're atheists, I probably wouldn't exist. If they just normalize it, I'd be good. Hey, Paul. It is good to see you, Paul. Good to see you, man. But yes, females are not bald. Yes. Hey, there's Michael. Yes, welcome to all of you in the fluffle. But so I'm listening to this video, and it's the typical, like, I'm deceiving everybody, and I'm twisting the truth, and I'm doing this and that, and Paul is too, and Apologia, and I don't know. There's a bug. Like, I noticed that nobody's really saying, just a bunch of atheist YouTube popularists are saying it anymore, because I'm not that. I'm both. I'm both a scholar and a YouTube populist. So I guess you gotta do something with it. So yeah. So there you go. Yeah, it's becoming. Real Seeker is the only guy I really see defending him. Maybe there's somebody else, but there was some people that Real Seeker has worked with who have also now kind of joined the bandwagon of criticism. So it's like, all of us are kind of getting on this wagon and going, hey, man, where's your 90% proof of your 90% claim? You started out saying more non-Christians than Christians in this book, and that's not true. You said the citations matter. That's not true. Then you go to evangelicals versus non-evangelicals. I'm going to call bullshit on that one too, because I think it's a complete category shift. So to me, this has been a very interesting saga, because all I did was say, hey, man, Paul doesn't have the academic creds. I'll back him up. Then I'll review his videos and say, hey, yeah, that's true or that's not true. So it's humorous sin. I can tell you within Christendom, Michael, that is a debatable point. I know from the more hippy dippy type Christians, there was this old T-shirt called Laughing Jesus, where they had Jesus laughing, and a lot of people were offended by that shirt. Okay, I remember there's certain Christian groups that are very, very offended by that. So I don't know what that's dealing with. It's like it. I remember when I was growing up, the debate about whether you should be funny, what was proper humor. I mean, I was a Pentecostal, so there's a lot of holiness stuff there. So they were always asking us what proper humor is. It's there. So there's always been this debate in theology of whether what form of humor is acceptable inside of Christianity. Of course, no lewd sexual humor would ever be, because why would we talk about something that's natural to all of us and have humorous remarks about it? It's like it's yes, I think so. Um, yeah, it's becoming interesting because I started listening to Real Seeker's response. I'm like, this is typical atheist. Okay, but now it's as I suspected, Christians are coming against him. Like there's Christians going, yeah, this is subpar scholarly work from somebody who's supposedly a PhD. All right, Leo Phillips, welcome. Hey, Dragon Rider. All right. Jesus is laughing because he caught tobacco. Need that introduced. Do a sermon on Song of Solomon. Yeah, that's another one. Yeah, but yes, it's the real problem, of course, with humor inside of Christianity is you have this overarching thing of does this humor offend God or not? I don't know. I don't know. And so there are certain passages of scripture like Song of Solomon that preachers won't touch. Because Song of Solomon, if you understand the Hebrew behind it and all that stuff, yeah, there's definitely some pornographic stuff in Song of Solomon. What became interesting to me, Blossom, as I was thinking about it, this is supposed to be King Solomon and his like sixth wife or something like that he actually might have fallen in love with. That's some people's take on it. But the way he describes her, the only way he could know some of the things that he's saying about her is if he had actually seen her naked and, had done the deed. And so were they already married or not married becomes a question. Yeah, that book had just so much fun. Testament based on double meaning. Works in Greek and not Hebrew. Paul counted all the sources in the third book twice now. By next week, he'll know them by heart. Yeah, I think that's the thing, Michael. It's like after I watched that latest video with him and Habermas, I'm like, it got worse. Okay, so it got worse. Hey, Earl, it is the lap in which our Lord naps. The lovely, every wonderful I Killed Earl. Actually, I got to put something up because I sent, in response to Paul's letter, email to me where he was giving me this, how Real Seeker has now responded to all the criticism of Habermas. It's now not just coming from me and Paul, but from Christians as well. I sent him this little thing and he came on the spot during that stream. So Gary Havens, a conservative evangelical apology. Me, yes, sadly for you guys, yes. Yes. Yeah, if he's the heavyweight, then we got a problem. So there you go. See. The Fluffle always welcomes the lap in which our Lord naps. Atheism, autism, saves. I see what you did there. Yeah, but yeah, I have, I got this email from Paul yesterday and I'm like listening to part of Real Seeker's response. And he has now come to the realization that there are Christians that are having trouble after hearing Paul's video. And I think there are Christians that are being silent about it. Okay. When you openly admit that your research is stick figures and little pieces of paper and good memory, but then demonstrate you don't remember stuff in the same sentence. So there you go. But so now, like he opens the video, like coming after me and Paul is, we're demon inspired. We hate God. We hate Jesus. We hate everything. I don't really hate any of this stuff. I feel sorry for Real Seeker, that he has been, because of his Christian upbringing, has come to look at atheists as somebody that he has to hate, that he automatically has to have certain assumptions about from his holy book. It bothers me. I don't hate it. I'm not angry about it. The only thing I got angry about in the whole exchange is when he accused me of, psychological manipulation or trying to do some reverse psychology thing. No, I'm just being a scholar wanting to know what other scholar names are. Imagine that, So I don't know, but yes. Uh, yeah, I sent it. I sent it. So yes, Real Seeker has a new video out where he spends 3 hours defending Habermas. I've only watched like 20% of it. I'm probably going to hit the rest of it later, but yes, he sent it to me, and I'm like, oh, he's heavyweight remembering the tiny papers. Yes, yeah, seriously, yeah, yikes. So, but yes, I've been accused of a lot of things over the years as an atheist. There's nothing new to see here, folks. It's just because this is the reason why I stay online to normalize atheism, because one of the problems with atheism is all the anti-propaganda about it. I even see that among people that I know are atheists, because they'll like apologize for the term or try to say it's a term with no meaning, or it's like no, words get created for a reason, and I don't think I should be ashamed of being an atheist and saying so. And I see that every once in a while. Like, it's one of my beefs with Alex O'Connor is like, he wants to use the term agnostic. I'm like, do you have an active belief in God? No. Well, then you're an atheist. Quit being ashamed of the term and start realizing that other people have propagandized it. So buy my book more. Why won't you buy my books? Yes, that's kind of what's happened. Like I've been keeping track of on Amazon of what the books have been going for, and they're still half off. The one that's most expensive right now is volume 3. It's still like $50, but the rest of them are volume 1 is like 40 down to 35 or something, and then volume 2 is like $20. Like so it's been that kind of thing for him. You might have given Earl an idea there now. I'm just saying. Yeah. If it had been reverse psychology, asking for the names would be trying to stop him giving you the names. Yes, that's what bothered me too. Like, he didn't understand what reverse psychology was. Like, I genuinely, as a scholar, as somebody who has the creds in this stuff, I've got the degrees from Asbury and Trinity Bible College, fully accredited, all that jazz. Um, I just wanted to know who the names were. Like, okay, if there's PhD scholars coming against Habermas's third book, who are they? Okay, seems like a simple request, really, when you think about it. So, yeah, well, when you consider it, the fact that volume here, let me get the accurate numbers here, because I can just look this up so quick. But yes, Resurrection Volume 1 has a list price of $80. It's selling for $39.95 right now. The Volume 2 is a $70 book selling for $24.71, at least to me. And Volume 3 is a $75 book selling for $47.34. And that has been the case for probably a couple months now. Gosh, it goes back to way when I first started reacting to Paul's videos. So, yeah, I can't imagine the publishing house is all that pleased right now. Okay, so, there's way more Christians, and a lot of people are going to be ignorant. So they're probably still making money. It's just they're not making as much money as they thought they were going to. Yeah, go to Costco and sell some. There you go. Yeah, I mean, to me, they're two different things. Like, can we know there is a God or not? That's a different question from, do I actually believe in one? Okay, and that's fine. So, hey, good to see you, and thank you very much. Appreciate it. Yeah, you're always welcome. Everybody's always welcome here. That's not what we're saying. I always love people that want to say trope things about what atheists say when I don't really actually say that. Okay. That's trying to minimize the problem of evil argument, which is actually a very legit argument, even among Christians. Christians absolutely take, Christian scholars take that argument seriously, and this is kind of a diminishing of that argument. But okay, I mean, that's just kind of trolling, dude. Are you going to actually engage the question of the problem of evil? The real problem of evil. Here, let me give it to you. It's very graphic, so I'll give you a graphic trigger warning. There's some guy molesting some young underage girl in the corner of a room. God is sitting there looking at this happen and does nothing about it. That's the real problem of evil. Okay, so there you go. Deal with that one. Your God that's supposedly all powerful and all knowing and all present is watching every molestation, every murder, every evil thing that happens, supposedly is good, supposedly is loving, and does nothing about it. So there you go. So, yeah, most of us are agnostic atheists. Like I acknowledge that proving God or disproving God is a difficult task because I don't have enough information to do that. Although there are some atheists that definitely think that there's a good ways to prove. I think when I did my arguments against God, I came to the conclusion there's a lot of good arguments against the typical omni-God. So it's like I don't have. There's no good argument against all deity that I could find other than I think the best one is Occam's razor. Like I don't need it. So yeah. So there you go. Big book entry apology. Yes. Yeah, Tilting. Welcome, Tilting. Good to see you. Yeah, but I deal with trolls harshly. Like, don't minimize what the problem of evil argument is because Christians don't minimize it. Like real Christians that understand the problem of evil argument realize how powerful it is, and they treat it seriously because that's the way you should treat it. Okay, and most people, they want to do, bad thing happened, so God not real. Well, that's the essence of the argument, but it's designed to minimize it emotionally. It's not dealing with it intellectually. So yeah, that's kind of, dealing with it. So divine hiddenness is another problem. So yeah, they can't coexist. And that's the issue of the problem of evil. Okay. Like you can't have evil and a good God coexisting in the same universe. Okay. That's the bottom line. Now you can get rid of that problem by making God not omnipotent or not omniscient or not everywhere present. Like maybe he can only be in one place at one time. That'll explain how some people get away with stuff because he's just not around, or he doesn't know everything. Okay. And so you can get around it then, but if he doesn't know everything, and where's the omni God then? Like, so it's something that kicks the omni God right in the nuts, if you ask me. Okay, is the problem of evil argument, and people want to minimize it with these troll apologetic type responses, and I don't have time for that. Okay, other than to say, I want you to really consider the problem of evil argument that God is sitting in the corner of the room watching evil happen and does nothing. If I did that as a human being, I'd be a piece of shit, but somehow God gets away with it. Okay, so there you go. They in our Discord and the old man, so they came up with something divine command theory. Yeah, because that's what they want to keep. Okay, Brian. It's the whole authoritative ethics that they're trying to keep. Okay, but God seems to have these ethics, but doesn't do them. Okay, he doesn't do them. If his character is holy, loving, merciful, where is it when a little child is being molested? Like, where is that mercy? Where is that love? Where is that person's going to be damaged forever because of that event? Okay, where is it? Okay, like, I think divine hiddenness and are two of the biggest bashes against the Christian understanding of God. Like, it was a theological problem for me when I was a Christian, and you have to kind of make him semi-session, that's what I'm saying. Like, the ways to get around this, like one of the ways I got around it was open theism, which open theism is just God knows everything, but he knows it in the way that it is knowable. And so he knows all the possibilities of the future, but doesn't necessarily know exactly what's going to happen. And by doing that, you can get away with, free will defenses and other things like that. But it still doesn't solve the problem of God being a loving God and sitting there and watching evil crap happen. So there's one human up now. Yeah, it's Pascal's wager thing. I think people believe in God mostly because they want to hedge their bets. Okay, which I don't. If there is really such a God, wouldn't God know that you're just hedging your bets and you're really not dedicated to him? Like, yeah. So, situation for me, Paul watching, Paul sometimes talking about Paul. Yeah, there's like, I'm talking about apology. I have Paul Entz, and then I have Paul as one of my people that shows up in chat. So I apologize for the confusion. I'll try to correct that. Yeah, I think what you're left with, John, is if you're going to postulate this omnipotent God, you got to dump the all-loving part. Like, you end up with a deist God that just created the world to see something or do something, and then you have to get into the question of what his motivations would be. And then, see, this is the problem with theology, as I point out as a guy with a master's degree in theological studies. Every time you answer a theological problem, you create three others. Okay, and it's this round and round, circle, circle, circle. And what theology does is keeps you on the merry-go-round, okay, until you realize you're just on a merry-go-round and you're not getting anywhere, okay, because the issues of God aren't clearing themselves up. So it's like, so there you go. But it's to me, it's been, I had to get rid of either God being all loving, or I had to get rid of him being omnipotent, or I had to get rid of him somehow being omniscient. And of the three, I think omniscience was easiest to dump, because if God doesn't know something, then he can't act on it. Okay. And, or he's keeping free will in place. So he's letting people be sexually assaulted free will. He's letting people, it's like, maybe they won't, maybe they will, I don't know. Kind of hard to get over it when somebody's in the middle of that sort of thing. To me, it's just this heinous defense of a God when you deal with the problem of evil is a heinous defense of a God who supposedly is loving and has the power to stop it, but doesn't. Okay. If I had the power to stop some evil in the world and I didn't do it, I wouldn't be looked at as a good person, but somehow God gets a free pass because, God is good all the time God is good. And it's the indoctrination that kicks in at that point. So, yeah, we're only a tool. Yeah. Down to incompetent middle management and forced. Yeah, you can blame the church, you can blame human beings, you can blame angels, you can blame everything else, but it's like, this is the guy who created the system. So why is the system flawed if he's not flawed? So, Bill, or uncertainty Bill. Those are all claims without evidence. If he loves us so much, why does he allow so much evil to happen to even good people? Like, to me, if I saw my kids were being attacked by somebody and somebody was about to do something evil to them, I would stop it if I love them. Also, God doesn't seem to be very persuasive by himself. He doesn't seem to be able to come down and explain himself because he's always playing the hide and seek champion. Okay. I have a degree in theology, so I used to say crap like this. Okay. But he didn't have to create us, but he creates us because he loves us. Why would a God who's completely self-sufficient need to create at all? Like, couldn't he like play out he could create something to love him and love him back and wouldn't have to put us through all the bullshit. Like, sorry, that doesn't wash for me anymore. As for being created in his image, that's the claim of the Bible. Do you have proof that we're created in the image of God other than some book says so? Seems like if that was true, there would be other proof besides what it says so. Thanks, Martin. Appreciate it. Fear the Reaper, yes. I don't know. I'm not really afraid of death. It's the process of dying that might bother me. Hey, thanks. Appreciate it. It's going to come in handy. You're hoping to reach the hat. Okay, right now it's the newsboy hat that's leading it. It's a really tight fight, though. Like, I think the only one that's losing is the black top hat. Everybody else is kind of sitting in there. So, and we got 3, so I only need 2 more. But there you go. So what? That he didn't need to. What difference does that make? That's completely non sequitur to the issue of some guy is molesting some little girl in a corner and God's sitting in the other corner with all his power, and he literally just watches it and does nothing about it. See, I make the problem of evil emotionally in your face, okay, for a reason, because a lot of Christians like to sterilize God's omnipresence, and the omnipresence of God is a big factor here, okay? He's there watching and does nothing, okay? That's the problem of evil. It doesn't matter how he created it or what he wanted to create us. If he wanted to create us, okay, he wants to create us. Then he puts us through all this suffering. I would have to say, then he gets off on our suffering. Like, is that what God's doing? He likes to watch it. Okay. That doesn't make him a good God. That makes him a bad one. Okay. He wanted to create us. Your assertion that he created us to love us, I don't think is bore out by the world. Okay. Like, he's watching and he's in the room every time some evil act is done, and he does nothing about it. So I would have to conclude that maybe the God that created this world is, if there is such a God, which I don't think there is, created it for shits and giggles to watch people suffer. Okay. I can easily make that assertion. Okay. Okay. So your humor is divine. You're going to run with that. Okay. That's fair. Yes. Yes. I killed Earl is the darkness. She's not just one with the darkness. She is the darkness. Oh my goodness. But yes. Oh my goodness. Genesis, God created us because the other gods didn't want to play with him. He was probably a ginger. That's fair. Although I have gingers in the family. My father was a ginger. So didn't need to. Abraham thought Moses never existed. Yeah, that would probably be true. Yeah, it's a silly idea, like a supreme being needing to worship other people to worship him. Why would a God? I hate to break the news to you, but social species beyond human beings also have senses of right and wrong. They often punish people who violate social mores. That's completely untrue. Okay, I'm sorry. We may have a more advanced sense of morality and ethics and consciousness, but the latest research. So what? It does. The idea that somehow, like, I know for a fact that certain bird species, if a bird violates the social codes, they will definitely be punished for it. That's true in primate species as well, from gorillas to orangutans to chimpanzees. There are plenty of social codes outside of human codes. Human morality is complex because we have gotten more complex, but that's simply not true. Sorry. Okay. You have, well, if he doesn't need to, then why did he? Oh, he loves us. Well, that's really weird. He has a very strange way of expressing his love to us. by making us suffer so much because of the sins of two people, supposedly. That doesn't make sense either. Why, how is it just to punish the entire human race for the actions of two individuals? Okay, that there's no standard of justice that I know of that you punish kids for their parents' crimes. Okay, only God does this. Only the God of the Bible. Yahweh's kind of a weird dude. Yeah, we are animals, unfortunately. For some people, they don't want to accept that. Okay, sorry, you don't have any proof of it. Why doesn't he stop Satan? Satan seems to have a lot of power on earth compared. Yes, that's another issue. I'm sorry. I thought the Bible said that God was undescribable. And that's a theological opinion, by the way. That's not an established fact, even among Christendom. I hate to break the news to you, but there are Christians that would actually disagree with that we don't look like God at all. Okay. Yeah, animals are definitely moral. They have some moral senses to them. I should vote for their favorite. I don't. It's not a question of I don't believe in God because there's evil. I don't believe in God because there's no good evidence for God. You need to understand who you're dealing with. Okay, the Rabyd Atheist is a former pastor. I was a Christian for 40 years. Okay, from the time I was young. Okay, a child. I was a pastor for 20 of those years. I have degrees in Bible and a degree in theological studies from 2 accredited universities. I was a minister for a long time. And if I wanted to go back, I could be the most popular YouTuber of a guy who became an atheist and then went back to theism ever. But intellectual integrity will not allow me to do so because there's no good evidence for God. It is not up to me to dismiss the notion of God. It's your job to prove that he exists. Okay, all the arguments for the existence of God I have dismissed because they're fallacious. Okay, but no, I think the problem of evil is one major problem, but that's only one of many. Okay, like God never seems to show up to anything like anymore. It's almost like he's invisible and doesn't exist. So powerful. Why doesn't he stop Satan? Satan should. Okay, where am I? That's a long and complex question, but human morality is because we humans do it. Morality is born in society. Okay, I'm not trying to be rude, but the notion that morality just has to come from a God is just not backed up by the way morals work. Okay, morality is about how I behave towards others and how others behave towards me in the human sense. We come up with human moral codes. The evolution of morality in our species is something that's being documented right now. Okay, why we do what we do. I mean, I don't need a God to understand. You do something for me, I do something for you. I don't need a God to understand. I do good things for others because I want people to do good things for me later. I don't need a God to understand any of those things. Morality comes from us because we need morality to function as a society. If we don't have morality, society collapses, our species collapses. That doesn't lead to surviving and thriving. I don't need a God for any of that. Okay, I can Occam razor God right out of it. Okay, I don't need him. Okay, but morality exists because humans exist. Human morality exists because humans need human morality to function. Okay, it's like every other social species on the planet. We need morality to function. So, yeah, yeah. So good to say. That sounded like Queen. Okay, there we go. I'm trying to catch up, people. These theists are distracting me with their normal arguments that don't work. Maybe. Oops, Sark. God also created people from whom he had been better if they never existed. Kind of weird. Yeah. That is kind of a weird. That God know what he was doing when he created us amateurs. Can I please work professional at least once in my life? Yes. We are, yes, we're all apes. I love it when rationality rules start, hello, my fellow apes, because it's so true. Yeah, it's the longest game of hide and seek ever with God. No, because not everybody in societies, we grow, we evolve, we adapt. And I would hate to tell you this, but if you're a Christian and you believe the Bible endorses slavery. Okay, so you can't, I'm sorry, I'm tired of this particular aspect of it. If a Christian or a believer is going to come after me about slavery, I'd like to remind them that one of the three biggest monotheistic religions that rely on the Old Testament and the Old Testament not only endorses slavery, it tells you how to practice it. It tells you which slaves can be freed after 7 years if they're Jewish males, and everybody else gets perpetuity. It not only endorses slavery, it condones it. In the New Testament, it isn't any better because you have Paul and many others saying, slaves, be obedient to your masters as if to Christ. You want to corner me on the morality of slavery when you believe it too. Your divine command theory puts slavery on up there and says, yep, it's okay. Okay, but no, slavery, like all moral questions among human, we have come to better solutions. Okay, slavery was in our darker days and we've grown up. Okay, that's why the Bible falls behind, because it's a locked in morality from a certain time frame. Okay, but no, I don't consider slavery good because I don't see any good rational reason to say that one person has the right to own another. Okay, like there is no good argument there. And so I dismiss it as being bad because it's bad for everybody involved. Okay, it creates this high and mighty ass of the slave owner that feels entitled to their slaves. And on the other hand, you're diminishing a human being. Okay, I don't need God for that either. Okay, so slavery was, in my opinion, never good. Okay, it's just a lot of people justified it. I'm going to say it. It's the religious texts that justified slavery for so long, not people thinking rationally. I'm sorry, slavery was dismissed as an immoral concept by many philosophers long before Jesus Christ. Okay. I know when I was reading through Stoicism, one of Stoic philosophers' contention is that that was evil. And one of the Stoic philosophers, Seneca, was a slave. Okay. And he dealt with it, but he certainly didn't think it was a good thing. But there's plenty of people that have argued against slavery long, long, long before anybody. Society has always had a divided view on the subject. I'll just put it that way. Okay, but to say it was always good because everybody endorsed it, not everybody endorsed it, and not everybody has throughout history. So that's us. Yes, it is emergent. Yeah, socially exceptional does not necessarily equal moral either. Okay, like, there's been a lot of things that have been socially acceptable. It doesn't mean that they're right. Okay, so a lot of things have been legal and in the law, and that doesn't mean that they're right. And slavery has been one of those things. Yes. Goes to the one making the claim that God exists is a positive claim, and thus theists have the burden of proof. Yes, slavery was never good, and we have come to grow to understand that. And the Old Testament hasn't grown. It stays there. Nothing is full of station. I don't know. Morality evolved. Humanity needed a set of rules to survive threats from predators who will kill people. Those who follow the rules survived, and those who didn't likely died. Okay, and thus morality, it's like, I scratch your back, you scratch mine. That's just beneficial. It's the social rules that became morality have evolved to say, listen, every human being deserves a shot. Okay, so we've done that. Hey, Moondog. that all then we can prove to me the Christian God isn't immoral, but no one has ever found it, so he's awful. How is the Bible used to abolish slavery? No, you can't do that. If Christian abolitionists were late to the party. Like there were abolitionists that weren't Christian I'm sorry, that's a revising of history. Okay, sorry. You cannot read the Bible's stuff on slavery without slavery being okay and endorsed. I mean, literally the New Testament people say, oh, slaves, obey your masters as if you're obeying Christ. That is not getting rid of slavery. That is absolutely keeping it in check. I'm sorry, I've studied the Bible stem to stern, read it at least 100 times, okay, in my career as a minister, okay, and as a Christian, and there is no verse of scripture that gets slavery out of the equation, okay? It is an endorsement of slavery, and the New Testament reinforces it. Jesus never condemns it, okay? He even kind of assumes it in some of his parables. Sorry, that is a complete false statement. Okay, I'm sorry. I speak as somebody who's studied this deeply. Slavery was never condemned by the Bible. In fact, you have to keep the concept of slavery in order to keep certain Christian concepts. When Paul calls himself a bond slave of Jesus Christ, that is using a social concept of bond slavery to endorse a Christian concept of being a slave to Jesus. Okay, so you can't get rid of slavery as an evil thing if you're supposed to be a slave for Christ. Okay, sorry. Yeah, I would say that's denial. Okay, I'm sorry. The Bible is one of the most endorsing of slavery books there is. Okay, and I had several denominations. Okay, what do you want? I was in Assembly's God Boys, so I was a Pentecostal for a long time. Then I ended up pastoring a non-denominational church with probably every denomination in front of me that were outcasts from their denomination. So they didn't fit anywhere else, so they came to me. But no, it doesn't matter what denomination I am. I can at least examine the Bible and know what it says about slavery. I'm sorry. You need slavery as a concept to exist in order to have the concept of Christian, such as Paul saying, I'm a bond slave of Jesus Christ. You have to know what that is in order to engage it as a concept of your relationship to Jesus. Jesus endorses slavery in the sense that you need to be a slave and a servant of God to Jesus himself. He openly says so. Okay, like, I'm sorry, you can't have certain Christian concepts without the concept of slavery being good. Okay, that there's certain concepts of ownership and abject obedience that have to be there in order for Christianity to work. And the only way that you can describe that is in the human institution of slavery. It doesn't matter what denomination I was. It doesn't matter. Okay, to me, societal standards and human morality are constantly evolving and growing, and hopefully getting better, because we're all here trying to survive, thrive, and do the things that we need to do as a species. Okay, but human morality has a very human origin. And you guys want to put a divine stamp on it, and that doesn't help. Okay, because then you can say, my authority comes from God about this moral situation. And so therefore all the rest of you are wrong. And so therefore you have to follow me because God says so. And that's what this has been a con since the beginning with religion. Okay, it's absolute con. Okay. I'm sorry, people made all morality is subjective. Sorry, I have never been given an example, and there's nothing wrong with it being subjective. Okay, sorry, I think a lot of you people think that somehow if something's subjective, it's inferior. It's not. Again, it's like, no, but I have yet to find an objective moral code. Okay, because you can say, oh, well, what about murder? Okay, but so what? We have come to the conclusion that we should have objective moral rules based on our subjective. Nobody wants to be killed subjectively, so we create an objective rule: don't kill people. Subjectivity and objectivity kind of work in morality together. We create objective rules based on everybody's subjective desires, but morality is all subjective. Even your Christian morality or biblical morality is subject to the subjectivity of human interpretation of what God says. Like, I'm sorry, there's constant arguments within believer circles, in theological circles, that are subjective because of one person subjectively interprets a verse one way and one person interprets. The slavery issue is a good example. You had people back in the day that subjectively said slavery was okay because the Bible said it was okay. And you had other people interpreting some of the same passages and saying, no, it's not okay. We need to be abolitionists. The very fact that people can look at the Bible and come up with subjective interpretations and go to different indicates to me even Christian morality is subjective. Everybody is going through human opinion. Okay. Yeah, they haven't grown. Yes. Once again, that's not what we're saying. Just because something is socially acceptable doesn't mean it's moral. Okay. So there you go. Yeah. I mean, I want this definition of morality too. Hi, Chuck. Are you following Are you stalking Tilting Windmill? Yeah, you have to be a slave and to be in the kingdom of God. Jesus says that. It doesn't say, masters, free thy slaves. Yes, Leviticus is a horrible book about slavery. Yes. Yeah, that's a valid point. So you're an Orthodox apologist. I've had many experiences with you. Let me ask you a question. Is your next move going to be, hey, I belong to the real church, the Orthodox church? Because I'm sure that there might be a few Christian lurkers going, really? I thought my church was the real church. See, that's once again, the fact that you're an Orthodox doesn't surprise me because all of your questions I have answered many, many times from you guys. But I am familiar with Orthodoxy in this respect. You guys are some of the most proud of your belief system of anybody else. Like, you think you've got the truth. I don't know how on a planet like ours with so much information and so much stuff, anybody can claim that they got the capital T, the truth. But you guys are really good at it. It's a nice claim. I'm forward to thinking it. It's true. Oh, you're Greek Orthodox. Oh, well, that makes it better. I knew that would be your reaction. You've had enough? Okay. I kind of figured. No, morality is not objective. Okay, I've got to deal with this one. Okay, you're in a context where you're trying to deal with somebody and you're not really sure what to do. The best thing to do is, hey, can we work this out? Okay, well, it's subject. Everything is subjective because morality is human to human. So it's one human subject to another human. It's not about feelings or fee-fees or any of that. When people talk about morality being subjective, they talk about it being subject to something else. So human morality is human beings being subject to other human beings. We're interacting, okay? Even Christian morality, authoritative ethics is still subjective because all ethics is subject to what God says and how it is interpreted by supposedly God's leading people, okay? So it's still subjective. There is no example of an objective ethic that I can find. I don't get me wrong. I was open to somebody giving it another shot, but I've already heard yours, okay? If a God is giving a command, doesn't matter which one, all of a sudden, whether that command is followed is subjective to the people that hear the command, is a subjective relationship. And so all morality is subjective. I have yet to find an objective moral system. So I know there's atheists and others that do believe in that, and that's fine, and they make their case, but it's like, I still get caught up on this very simple thing of, yes, but if I'm engaged in a moral conundrum with another human being, that's subjective between each other. Okay. And so we're still trying to come up with what the right thing is between the two of us. So yes, morality evolves as humans evolve. It wasn't burned into stone for 1,000 years ago. Yeah. It's just your subjective opinion, Kiki. Yeah, morality. You get your morality from the moral fight. BS. Good to see you. How you doing? I hope you're doing well. But yes, I can see where some people will get it from the moral fairy. Like, and that brings up the other question of objective morality from God is like, which God? Like, you still are left holding the sack of, you got to prove that God exists that gives the morality. Because if you don't do that, then I'm okay, which God? Because there's a lot of gods that give moral code. So which one's the right one? So it's beaten 3 times. The dog explains why it's wrong to bail him, making this a story about animal rights. There you go. Okay. There you go. I don't think many Christians, Chuck, though, will take that. I mean, I don't think they will do. Bailing because the donkey saves bailing from the angel with the sword. Yeah. It's fairy dust? Okay. Morality serves humans. Many Christians seem to think morality is something that pleases their deity. That's a different concept, but also relevant for it. Yeah, I agree with you. But for me, I think morality is best connected with and best serves human beings. Like, it's what we do it for. Like, if a social species develops, okay, like let's say over time we have some species that wasn't social before, but someone begins to develop social tendencies, they will develop a moral code about that within themselves in order to survive better. So it's like, to me, morality is just an extension of what animals have been doing as social species for a long time. We're just very complex and formal about it. Like, we've evolved to that point. And I've read several books on the evolution of morality now, and to me it makes perfect sense. That as we try to strive and thrive, we get more. Yeah, it's a script. Okay, once I saw the we're gonna morality is just an opinion. Have you heard about your Orthodox Church lately? I'm like, oh my God, it's another one of these Orthodox apologists types trying their shtick. And it's like, I've done that shtick. Okay, save the presuppositionalism for somebody who buys it. Okay, prove your presuppositions before you come to me. So, yeah, just because something's legal doesn't make it moral. Yeah, I think they're desperate tilting. Honestly, when I look at the Orthodox method of doing this, I think they're desperate because I think people are onto their game, and they don't have a new game because they think they don't have to prove their presuppositions, and that's wrong. Like, they do, and the burden of proof is on them, and they're running into a wall because everybody knows their game. So, you have no donkeys in Donkey Kong. That is a conspiracy. I'd agree with that. Tongue in cheek. Yeah, I think we have a difference here in the Orthodox people that feel that it's their duty to educate the rest of us about what the truth of Orthodoxy is, and those that are just following the Orthodox religion. That's true of probably every denomination. Like, the vast majority of them are just living their life and doing their thing, but there's always these zealots or zealot-like folks that have to get on the internet and talk about it. Okay, so I realize I'm probably dealing with 5% of Christendom here, but it's they're the ones that are getting the airplay. So I don't know. I don't think it is. I mean, look at any referee call in any sport. It's subjective. Okay. Well, it needs 2 more. I need 2 more super chats for that to happen. Right now, the newsboy is winning, so that could happen. That could happen. Yeah, probably. Yeah, you can join Greek Orthodox, get married. Yeah, you could. I mean, I get it. Throwing stones at the police. Yeah, that's pretty objective, I guess. social standard is such a makes me want to don my anarchist socialist hat and point out that capitalism is also immoral, even though it's socially accepted. Okay, there you go. Yeah, you can do that, Storm. I'm not saying I agree, but you can do it. I'm always willing to hear that stuff. Pick a card. I mean, God. Yes. Are you grumpy, Earl? Are you grumpy now? The thing is, Ron, I wish I used to, when I first started this channel, I used to get good conversations with theists. Like there were good people that they wanted to talk to me about it. In fact, the first donation to this channel, when I finally had the ability to accept donations, came from a Christian, okay, who liked it. But as I've grown, I think I attract a different type of theist these days. Okay, I get it here. Hold on. I think there is an appropriate emoji at this point. I got to pull up grumpy because Earl is grumpy, but where's the one I want? Oh, I could probably do the popcorn one too. Huh. Oh, okay. I'm going to have to, I got to get, this must be in another file. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. This is a better one. There we go. Yes. You fear your fallen angel dust? Okay. The first line of the Bible can be interpreted to moralize and interpret's preference on how they clean their ass and moralize. Yes, that's probably true. Math for just 10 minutes. Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to do so right now because where I'm at in the misadventures of Fangs is I am on Mount Sinai. I've decided to write that chapter next. And Fangs' basic criticism is this is the best you got. So it's been my criticism now. 10 Commandments now have been free of having to back them up being a Christian is like, yeah, they're not really that great. I mean, 3 of them are like, I'm a sycophant God that wants other people to worship me. Don't screw it up. Like, I feel like that's wasted space where we could have talked about, slavery's bad. Owning other people is a bad thing. It's a bad thing. Orthodox like going back was Mormon. That's probably true. Well, they keep claiming they're Orthodox, though, Rimmer. That's the thing. Or they're going to have decent food. Okay. Yeah, the first 3 or 4 is worship me. And then I would say the 4th one is don't disrespect me. Like, that's a lot of wasted space when you could have been dealing with real moral questions. Yes, there's that too. You're allowed to ask me questions, but thanks for proving subjectivity. Appreciate that. By asking your question, you should think about what you just asked. That the entire referee's call is subjective to the situation on the field. Okay. And so he has to come look at the rules that are implied and see if he can make an objective call based on the subjectivity. See, the problem with you people is you think subjectivity is over here and objectivity is over here, and subjectivity is feelings based, but that's not what most moral philosophers talk about when they have subjective. They have a completely different definition of what subjective means. But you guys keep getting hung up on the wrong definition. You're absolutely allowed to ask questions. This is my openest stream, but you're still not getting it. Okay. Like there is no, even with God, you're still subject to God and his whims, whatever that God may be. Okay. His morality, you are subject to it. Okay. And so therefore it's still subjective as well. There is no such thing as objective morality in that sense. So, but as far as the referee making the call in the field, he has a set of rules. Was the rule violated or not? People can make objective rules out of subjective morality. That's been demonstrated several times. So The rules of chess are but within Israel and can be objectively best decision. Yes, there's subjectivity in who can make them in almost everything. Okay, so they're burning bush boomers. Chixie Mary, welcome. It allows me to catch up. I get caught up with the theists. That's true. Because a lot of you are fans, and I appreciate you guys. I try to address you guys too. But there's a lot of chat tonight, so I'm trying to keep up. Why is that genuinely intriguing? I'll tell you why that is. You want to hear what that is? I'll give you the story. I spent a lot of time, when I got out of high school and I went into Bible college after getting married. Me and my wife headed off to Trinity Bible College in Ellendale, North Dakota, and I started studying the Bible in depth, going over it, getting my biblical studies degree, getting my ministry degree. And the questions that I had when I came out of high school got worse because they weren't being answered. I went to apologetics class. I straight up told the apologetics professor after we got done, I said, the arguments for the existence of God are all sus to me because they all assume a conclusion. And, there's a lot of begging the question in almost every one of them. I then kept studying the word, went on to seminaries, kept studying there, discovered that what everybody said was so sure about the Bible and God and everything wasn't. And so I spent, I don't know, probably 20 years of my life after leaving that, trying to figure stuff out, being a theologian, I became an atheist because the more I studied the Bible, the more I realized that it was contradictory and couldn't be true in a lot of places, that a lot of it was mythology, just like Zeus, Odin, Thor, and all the rest of it. And I have too much intellectual integrity to follow something that I don't believe is true. Now, atheism doesn't require me to follow anything. Okay, that's one of the mistakes that a lot of theists make. But it doesn't require me to follow anything. It allows me to pursue what I can find is true. If Bible and God and everything was true, it would be crystal clear to everybody and everybody would follow it. But the fact is, there's a lot of subjectivity in interpretation and the way the Bible can be read. And, God is jealous. He's love, but love can't be jealous. Those kind of contradictions in theological understanding of God in the Bible's pages. Yeah, they're what leads a person from belief to unbelief. In fact, I think one of the top 3 reasons that people will leave the faith and become atheists is study of the Bible. You need to think about that. Morality is not as objective as engineering. It's not about being subjectivity in moral questions is who is subject to whom. Like if 2 people are debating whether something is right or wrong, there's a subjective relationship between the 2 of them that's helping determine that. Human morality is human morality because all humans are subject to other humans. Okay, and so we interact with each other. Okay, it isn't about feelings or a subjective opinion or anything like that. Okay, subjective morality is backed up by reason. We can do economic situations. There's a lot more tools in the toolbox for the person who engages in subjective morality than a lot of objectivists give them credit for. I mean, it's not my expertise. Okay, I'm not a moral philosopher. I know enough about it to know that there is, as far as I can tell, nobody who can tell me why something is moral outside of humans and their interactions with each other. Okay. Yeah, we wouldn't need replays if they were objective. So, yes. Yes. Seminary is one of those things, Chixie Mary, that you start to learn the truth about the Bible. You learn the truth about theology. Like there's a lot of empty spaces. The reason why religion survives is preachers and apologists get out there and they assert an authority that, they can't back up, or they create an authority they can't back up. and then they speak with confidence. When you get to seminary, your confidence starts to get shaken because they start telling you the reality of biblical texts. They start telling you the reality of what we have found and what actually exists that backs up the faith. Um, it's you end up going there and you start studying and you realize that a lot of the things that you were told as a child, as a youth, as a young adult are not true. Okay. And so what else are they lying to me about? Okay. And it's not uncommon for people to go through Bible college and seminary and become unbelievers at the other end of it. Hey, it's Jimmy. Now we got up there. So, yeah, good to see somebody. Nice name, though. You gonna live stream tomorrow, Jimmy? I'll see if I can be there. I don't know when you're doing it, but it doesn't pay better. As so, you know full well this doesn't pay better. Hey, thanks, Storm. Storm being generous, dropping the couple. They're only one super chat away from me wearing a hat. You're running out of time though, because I got to get ready for work. So, God, it's not a moral framework. That's why Christians don't understand why morality is always subjective. Yes, because you think morality is obedience, and the two are being obedient to bad morality is still bad. Like if the king tells you to kill your neighbor, okay, to delete your neighbor, so to speak, that's still bad. Okay, to me, in my subjective morality, because you shouldn't be killing people. Okay, I don't want to be killed. Other people don't want to be killed. Let's create a rule that we don't kill each other. Okay, but if morality is obedience, then if God says genocide the Amalekites, you go genocide the Amalekites because that's morally right to do. That's the problem with divine command theory. So, yeah, it's the sin salvation concept. Well, but that a lot more to church than the Bible. But yes, but there's other things besides church that there are a lot more to them than that too. It doesn't make them true. Okay, I grew up, I understand the traditions of the church, but the traditions of the church aren't authoritative either to me. Okay, like so what? Some group of people said they were going to do something for a long time. So what? Yeah, it looks like somebody completed the goal. Probably Minx. Okay. Apathetic Minx. Okay, that's a great name, by the way. All right. All right. Let's see who won. The newsboy won again. So I gotta find it. All right. So we have a hat today. Thank you very much. Appreciate the support of the stream. Really do. So there we go. The hat has come out. Yeah, I'm. You're basically, the argument is you need to submit to the authority of the church. There's so much to the church, and I'm like, on what does the church base its authority if not the Bible? If it doesn't base its authority on the Bible, then it's just traditions that have been handed down through a cosmic game of telephone that could be right or wrong. Okay. You're a sassy minx too. You're a sassy minx. Okay, there we go. Listen, you don't upset me. Okay, it's just everything you've said today I have heard before. Okay, and that it doesn't convince me because it's, to me, if the authorities are morally right, then I will know that they're morally right and they don't need to use their authority to make me so. What's the Greek philosopher that had the name, the dilemma? It's one of those things where I'll just state the dilemma. The dilemma is is something morally right because God says so, or is it morally right so therefore God endorses it? Either way, do we really need a God at that point? So yes, You were polite, and I appreciate that. I don't. I've had people like I got to deal with I got to watch a video later where I'm being called a liar and automatically a son of Satan because I'm an atheist. So none of which is true. So yes, Epithrio, that's who it is. And I'm like, yes, his dilemma. Like you have to deal with that dilemma about morality because if if something's moral and God is just endorsing it, then why do I need God? And and if it's only moral because God says so, well then morality is subjective because it can be changed based on whatever God wants. Okay, so and that's actually demonstrated in the Bible. God changes his morality on how he deals with people. So I look handsome. Okay. Yeah, this one I don't mind wearing too much. Yeah, I know some of you. That's why a lot of people don't like education. Um, the problem with getting educated and actually looking at something and studying it is it changes your opinions about it. And people would rather hold to their opinions than change them. Okay. Like there's a tribalistic thing that holds people back. You know, if I change my view because I'm now educated on this subject, then other people won't like it and they won't like me. I won't be as accepted. I got to go to Christmas and Thanksgiving dinner with these people. But yes, they lose. Your stat is probably pretty close to accurate. The stats I've seen is like 75% of kids that grow up in Christianity that leave the faith. Okay, so the effectiveness of what's being done as far as indoctrination apparently is starting to be shaken, and it's probably being shaken by the internet. We know too much. So, uh, oh yeah, I got to tell the story, Dragon Rider. I was going to grab a holiday hat at work last night at work, but I didn't go to work. My car wouldn't start. My battery's dead. So I'm borrowing my family's car to go to work, grab a new battery, and I'll have to change it out. It's just been deucedly cold. Like last night, it got into the negatives, and I'm like, I can't work on my car today, you know. So I had to. I'm trying to get to work tonight, and I'll probably pick up the hat then, and I'll probably throw that in play at some point. But yes, I was going to get one last night, but I had to call off because my car was being a butt, and so I'm going to try to get that fixed, and then hopefully the hat will be in play. And I got another one on order that's still in transit, so you don't get upset. Yeah, it's a stoic thing. Yeah, I agree. Polite. A lot of them aren't polite. North Carolina is the uppity one. Uh-oh. What are? Yeah, I'm still asking that question, Cranky. What are they? Okay. And then I got Protestants that disagree with that, and they say they're the true church. I mean, anybody can claim to be the true church, but that doesn't prove anything. Everybody claims that the head of the church is Christ. If the scriptures are given as his decrees, then wouldn't they be more authoritative than the church? That's the Protestant argument. So there you go. That's fair. Ship of Theseus, yes. Yeah, that's a good one too. Oh, really? Well, there you go. I hope you get cured of that soon because I'm going to tell you Christianity has probably more problems than agnosticism. Yeah, there's a lot of agnostic Christians actually. I was actually surprised. Yeah, it doesn't help either. Earl, I don't know. I'll grab my phone later. I'll take you a picture because I'm fairly certain that if you see the snow that's around my apartment right now, you're going to say one word, nope. But I live with this every day. Yeah, last night I was home because I had to call off, and it got down to -7. So Fahrenheit for those of you in Europe. So I don't know what that is in Celsius. Probably quite cold. But all the good churches were quiet about politics until the members and donors were okay. There we go. Black foot water is a fun way. I recommend it. It's not a mainstream Orthodox practice. Yes, there's foot washing. The years as a Christian was pointing out to my parents the bureaucracy of adults around me, have them slap me down and tell me to be quiet. Exactly. There was no Orthodox in the beginning of Christianity. It started as a bunch of Christian cults, which were eventually eradicated by the church that survived by the sword. Yes. Yeah, the thing about heresy in the early church is it was often put down by political power. So that's always one of those things. But yes. Here, I'm going to popcorn time. I think I'm ready to leave. I got about 10 minutes and I got to go. Yes, I try not to be that. There are certain people that say 5. Nope. Yeah, you came home early because of the possibility of some snowflakes. I've been living with snowflakes since, I don't know, mid-November. So there you go. The stuff I deal with every day, like every day right now. Angle is affected because the believers have to hide the part of their doctrine when evangelizing. Yes, that's true. Very, very true. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I would have to see somebody who doesn't have an axe to grind just to figure out what group of people. That's a claim by the Orthodox Church that they've been around since the beginning, but I'm not really sure that that's true either. So practicing Orthodox Jew, yeah, that's probably true. I can sympathize. I'm afraid of change because I have been losing interest in video games to some degree, and even something as simple as that makes me think, "Who am I anymore?" Yeah, I know what you're saying. I've been there, done that. You don't like snow? It's white and fluffy. You're 90% smart ass. Okay, there you go. What's the other 1%? You've been cultivating it for years. Okay, there you go. Yeah, that's probably true. At least 50%. So you're at home, like. Oh my gosh. Yeah, worship Baal or El. Yeah, like you go back to Yahweh, Baal, and El. Those are the free religions of the Canaanite people that were. You for black and fluffy, grumpy. Okay, there you go. There we go. There you go. Oh my goodness. Great stream tonight, guys. Appreciate it. Oh, okay, there you go. That's you? Yeah. She is an awesome goddess. We have her in the book. She created the Asherah poles, which women have been enjoying now for many millennia. So that's been a good one. I appreciate you guys. I don't see too many dumbasses, so thanks for everybody. All right, I'm going to call it a night, guys, because I really do have to get ready for work. I need to get something to eat and get a lot of stuff done. But appreciate the chat tonight. It was really good. Appreciate the donations. So thanks once again to Gibnar. Hopefully I'm not saying that wrong. Martin, Gibnar again, Storm, and apathetic minx. So thanks everyone for all of you. You guys were great. Hopefully I didn't butcher names too bad. I'm just, but yeah, thanks everybody for the donations. Appreciate all of you. As always, may Fangs nibble on all of your hearts. May he draw you closer to him through that nibbling. And make sure you leave a circumcised carrot out on top of your stash. That way, there's a higher possibility that that Fangs will take your carrot instead of your stash. So that's the way you protect your stash against Fangs. Fangs is, after all, a trickster god, likes playing tricks on people. So make sure you're doing that. And may all of you in the fluffle enjoy the fluffulness of being in the fluffle. So there you go. Nom nom and all of that. And as always, folks, live your best life. You only get one go around and then it's over. So make sure you take all your time, your money, your opportunities, and give them to yourself, the people you love and care for, and to make this a better world. You'll be happier if you do. Don't waste it on trappings of religion and faith, because that's a dead end. I speak from experience. As always, folks, thanks for stopping by, and I will catch all of you next time.
It's time to take a stand, bringing the truth to a fucked up land.